If you had to pick the best part of Fable, what would it be? Is it the story? The life sim mechanics where you can build an empire and start a family? Or is it the combat? That's what we're going to be focusing on today, specifically the weapons you'll be getting your hands on. So in a few weeks' time, the Fable team is actually heading to Gamescom, and they'll be giving us a deeper dive into the combat system. Is this a response for the backlash that they got from the last showcase? The one where they kind of had the game set to story mode and the enemies seemed very scripted. And also the time was sped up, and for some reason people thought that you could earn like 8,000 gold just for making one pitchfork. But before we do get any new information on the combat system, let's recap on all the weapons we've seen in Albion so far. The first and most recognizable is the Longsword. We saw this blade all the way back in the original 2020 trailer, and it's arguably going to be the main weapon for a lot of players. From what we've seen so far, the Longsword's combat looks very smooth and fluid, a perfect balance between speed and power. It even looks like some weapon types have specific skills that we can utilize, which makes me wonder just how deep does this system go. So this next one is actually a new one for the Fable series, and I'm actually quite excited about it, and that is the Rapier and Dagger. There were a few whispers going around with people wondering if we could choose which weapons to dual wield, but I think I can confidently say that the Rapier and Dagger is just one complete weapon type itself, and it's a good looking weapon as well. I was going to run my first playthrough as a longsword user, but this has definitely thrown a spanner in the works. If you like to hit first and then ask questions never, if you're a connoisseur of the Unga Bunga, then this next weapon is for you. That's right, it's the Great Hammer. Personally, I've never been a big fan of heavy weapons, they aren't really my go-to, but I know a lot of players feel the exact opposite and strictly run heavy hitting builds. And from what we've seen so far, it's looking good. It was on the Great Hammer that we got our first possible glance at the fire augmentation. Now this may just be a coincidence, but the only equipable melee weapons that we've seen so far in the trailers very closely resemble the weapons used by the three heroes in the new murals that we've got from the history of Albion. We've got William Black holding the longsword, we've got what we think is the hero of blood using the Rapier and Dagger, and then we've got Bower that uses a shield and I guess you could call it a big hammer. It's not really a great hammer, but it's a hammer. But now it's time to move on to the ranged weapons. So far we've only seen the bow and the crossbow, or as Murgo's beard likes to call it.
Before we switch to our AC-25 fully automatic crossbow and pap these fools over here.
There isn't really much difference between the bow and the crossbow. I think it's just one is slower and packs a bit more of a punch, and then you've got the crossbow. I think some of those have an automatic feature, kind of like Van Helsing, where it's more of an assault rifle rather than a crossbow. But a nice quality of life addition is that this time around there is a cooldown timer on the ammo, which should prevent players from abusing non-stop ranged assaults. So the next set of weapons have a few question marks above them, because they're not actually weapons that we've seen the player character use, they're weapons that we've seen the NPCs using, so we don't actually know if we can equip these weapons or not. The first up is the Mace and Shield. I imagine all of us have seen Humphreys using this so far, and now we can see that the hero of Bower is also using a similar set of arms. And I also think some of the town's guards as well as some of the cultists were using sword and shields as well. So because we've seen so many of the NPCs using a shield with another weapon, I do tend to wonder if we would be able to use a shield as well. So next up we have the hero Arden using the dual hammers. And to be honest, she can keep that one. I think I'm good. In all seriousness, I just don't want to use two cobbler's hammers. Now if we could replace them with daggers and have dual daggers, that's something I could go for. But it does fit her character though, because all she wants to be is a cobbler. And it's rather fitting that her weapons are the things she's probably most familiar with. And she even stands toe to toe with Isabel, So she's probably one of the baddest cobblers I've ever seen. Speaking of Isabel, she actually wields one of the weapons on this list, and that is the spear. And it's a nice looking one at that. So far, the closest thing we've seen the player to wielding a spear is when we're throwing it back at Isabel. A funny thing happened as I finished writing the script for this video. I actually thought I got through every weapon because I went through every trailer, I went through every photo, but as I was going out there getting the media for this video, I actually came across something that I completely missed. Did you see it? That's right here, dual daggers. I can't believe I've never noticed before, but yeah, apparently this character has dual daggers, so I wonder in the future if our character will be able to. So all of this does really make me wonder just how many weapon taps we're actually going to get in the final game, and I hope we get some more information in Gamescom at the end of August, because then I could probably revisit this video and then update the topics what we've spoke about. But what do you think? Is there a specific weapon you're actually looking forward to getting added to the game, or you hope gets added to the game, or was there a weapon that you actually saw in this video what you would like to use for your first playthrough? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know down in the comments, because I do like to read them all. And if you enjoyed the video, please think about leaving a like and subscribing if you want to see more Fable content, because I am going to be covering this game all the way up, way past after the game actually releases. I'm that excited for it, so yeah. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next chapter.